kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
This is Paul Feinbaum. That'll do it for me today. Coming up next, The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are back from the All-Star break for a 6-game homestand July 29th through August 3rd. The homestand includes post-game fireworks for Space Night on the 1st, plus things get Jurassic for Dinosaur Weekend on the 2nd and 3rd. Get your tickets for the entire homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com. Let's rock it!
Have you seen the beautiful new Nexus apartment community right next to UAH? Nexus is designed exclusively for students. You'll love having private bedrooms and bathrooms, a fully furnished kitchen, and incredible amenities like 2 courtyards, a refreshing pool with grilling stations, and TV, gaming, and study lounges, all within an easy walk to campus and your classes. If you want the full collegiate experience, come take a personal tour at Nexus today. Log on nexusonhomes.com to see more, including limited time rate specials.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know it's hot outside, so cool down with an upright or chest freezer in stock at Owen Home Appliance Center. And don't let those beverages get hot. Get an under-counter ice machine with a built-in pump for just $12.99. Or how about a fridge out by the pool or in the garage for extra cold drinks? You can get a scratch and dent 18 cubic foot refrigerator for just $3.49 while supplies last. Go to owenappliance.com to learn more. That's owenappliance.com.
John Abraham here with Bobcat of Huntsville. Men, the season is upon us. This is what all the playbooks have prepared us for. But here, there's no need for a 3-4 defense because we're not talking about the football season. We're talking about the get-done season. Starting August 13th, Bobcat of Huntsville will have a full line of steel products for you to throw at those jobs you've been putting off until now. So put away those fantasy draft notes and pick up the tool you've been waiting for because it's time to get it done. Bobcat of Huntsville, right off of Highway 20 in Madison.
This is Steve Moulton for Tellini's Italiano. Tellini's Italiano is located right in front of the Walmart, right off of University, behind the McDonald's. More or less catty corner from Topgolf. It's one of my favorite places to go to, and if you go there, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you need to try the baked spaghetti, add a meatball. Also try the baked ziti with meat sauce, add sausage. You'll thank me. Save room for some pizzas and paninis as well. And don't forget about dessert as well. The best cheesecake I have had here in North Alabama is at Tellini's Italiano. Find out for yourself today. That's Tellini's Italiano, right off of University Drive in front of the Walmart. Located online at Tellinis.com. That's TELLINIS.com. Let's get some Tellini's tonight.
Listen to the Rocket City Trash Pandas all season long.
Next pitch is drilled. Deep to left field. Back goes Edsel. At the wall. It's out of here. A home run. Like a tomato. Ketchup squished it.
Trash Panda Baseball is only on Talk Radio WZZN. WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
It is always great to be back here at Full Moon Barbecue. I'm telling you, the burgers are fantastic. Certainly the ribs, the brisket. But, I mean, everything you want is right here at Full Moon Barbecue. And on top of that, we're trying to save you some money, too. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. Click on the Big Zone deals. Get $50 worth for just $25.
2 for 1.
That is exactly right. You get 2 $25 gift cards that you will redeem here. Now, just to be transparent for those of you that have not tried this. So it's not as if when you buy this that you come in here and order a Coke and they're going to give you money back. No. It's not how this works. You get what you get. So what I usually do, honestly, is get a couple of meals for dinner, and all of a sudden I'm paying dinner for like $3 or $4 for the family.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just that easy. So I know Brian Temple, who's back at the ranch, uses them as well, and we highly recommend you partaking because it saves you money.
The first time I did it, I didn't know that you had to spend at least $25. You get 2 $25 gifts.
That's right.
So I walked out of here with lunch and a sack full of cookies.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, if that's what you have to do. By the way, the key lime pie looks fantastic. So,
I'm not going to say that it'll save your marriage. I'm just saying that if you can solve the what's for dinner question, and save money too, man, you're going to look golden. Yeah. You'll make it to that second anniversary.
It helps. There is some NFL football going on tonight, and you're going to be able to hear it right here with the matchup that is, where did I write this earlier? It's Hendon Hooker versus Trey Lance with a side of DJ Uiagalelei coming up here tonight.
We talked about him a lot yesterday.
Yes, we did. But, yes, National Football League.
Old school music.
That's right.
NFL Films put all their music online, in case you didn't notice.
Let's see here. We are on until 7, Coach. This is Phillip Rivers texting me. He just now got back to me. I've been trying to text Phillip Rivers all day long because the Chargers are playing tonight. Yeah. I thought it'd be a good tie-in. And I said, I want to talk about your team, Coach.
Where is he now?
He's down at St. Michael's, down in the Mobile area. Okay. Him and the Rivers throngs of Rivers.
Well, yeah, he has like
7? I think 7 kids.
Something like that, yeah.
So I was just texting back and forth there with Phillip Rivers. Hopefully we might be able to hear from Phillip Rivers. Drew DeArmond will be on his way here. I got a text from the he is double dipping. We had Drew on yesterday, but magically we're here at Full Moon Barbecue. But it is okay. So pardon me while I'm texting Phillip Rivers.
Name dropper.
Oh, nothing.
Let me make sure I'm connected. So Phillip Rivers is going to call me in about 10 minutes. So we're going to get the future Hall of Famer and Drew DeArmond, who's wearing his MJ shirt. The other 23, of course, Rhino, who also passed away, also wore 23, and did see where the Cubs are going to be wearing the 23 jersey this weekend with no nameplates, just to honor Rhino, as well as they should. How are you, Drew?
I'm good, guys. Traffic's hell. along with bad weather. So, but at least it cools stuff off, I guess. Knocked out power indicator from what I hear.
Philip Rivers is going to call in here in about 10
minutes. Speaking of Decatur,
in
Athens.
Yeah. I can still remember him as a kid. One of the first things I did in this area was call Decatur High football.
He was a ball boy back then.
That's right. He was a ball boy, and he would still have that little fling. And Coach Rivers, his dad, Steve Rivers,
that's right,
said that's the only way you can hold the ball. That's the only way you can hold the ball. So worked out pretty good for him.
Yeah. And his son Gunner's a big-time prospect. He just got through visiting Sark in Texas, and he's visited Alabama. He's visited Auburn. He's piling up some good offers early. He'll be a junior this fall. So
on the subject of recruits, I know there was news that went clacking.
Yeah, we were talking about it last night. I said it looked unless something changed overnight, it was going to be the Ducks, and that's what happened with Anthony Tank Jones. It's really the first big miss in the cycle for Alabama football. They've had a really good run, but the Ducks and Tosh Lupoy and Dan Lanning, they came on strong. They were probably third for much of the process, but they continued to chop at it, and they've got him committed. We'll see if that stays that way. Tom Abraham, tweeted at me, posted, and said, "Well, get back to me in the summer get back to me in December." Pardon me. Potentially, they may stay in communication with him, but I think they'll figure out real quickly how serious the commitment is, and if they are done, then you take that rev share and you go to the next player. Elijah Golden, defensive lineman from Cardinal Mooney. He's in Sarasota, Florida. He's got it. I think his decision's August 9th, and it's Alabama, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma, and Notre Dame. Notre Dame's been thought to be the favorite throughout most of the process, but Oklahoma's made a big push. Maybe Alabama redirects and can do something with Elijah Golden. We'll see. He's a good player. Or if not, maybe you start, saving that rev share for the portal in January, or even, you just go out there and you find out who maybe isn't, as solidly committed as you thought. You continue to evaluate players. You're still in a pretty good. You're still in a good spot. I think there's only one or two spots left.
Is there?
So they got 21 committed. So you just continue to evaluate kids on early into the fall when they're playing games, and you see what may develop. You may find a kid or a kid that, like I said, that was committed to another school, but now realizes there's a spot at Alabama. Maybe something else develops. So you just kind of play it by ear as it goes. And again, it's frustrating to lose a 5-star and arguably the top player in your state who, he claimed that Alabama was his dream school, and he grew up wanting to go to Alabama, but it's a different climate now. And, from what I understand, just doing some digging, he had the top 3 for a good while now. Texas A&M, which probably led for the majority of the process, all the way going back to his 10th grade year.
Yeah.
And then Alabama, I think, led for a while this summer. And then at the end, he ends up an Oregon Duck like Naheem Offord, who was that's the second straight year, if this holds, that the top prospect in the state of Alabama ends up at Oregon, because Naheem Offord from Parker High School, they won the 6A state title last year. He visited Alabama a couple times, but it was pretty obvious that there wasn't a connection there. And, his brother had played for Mo Lindquist at Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And you would think if that had happened and he'd had a great experience, Naheem Offord would want to play for Mo Lindquist at Alabama. But his brother did not have a good experience at Buffalo. He ended up in the transfer portal. So there wasn't, some chemistry and connection previously already there. Mm-hmm. So Naheem Offord commits to Ohio State early, stays committed, but then what didn't surprise me at all. Well, now Auburn's come on strong, and Auburn had, dominated the state in recruiting last year, and they thought Naheem Offord would be the cherry on top of the sundae. But 48 hours before signing day, you start hearing rumblings, and then he gets up there on the stage. You're still thinking he may very well go to Auburn. He walks off the stage and then walks back on and commits to Oregon. So that's where he is right now. Alabama had already moved on smartly and got a better player, in my opinion, just watching film in Dijon Lee, and had thrown a lot of their efforts in getting Dijon Lee away from Georgia because Dijon was from Northern California. But, of course, Kirby wanted him. I mean, Kirby recruits nationally. So Alabama dueled Georgia and got a great player. We'll see how they respond to losing Tank Jones right now.
Yeah. Speaking of Kirby, he did talk to the media today, and once again, the philosopher that is Kirby Smart. I've been getting more and more philosopher Kirby Smart. I'm going to play this a little bit later on here in this first hour of he was asked biggest change in college football since 2016 and gave a fairly detailed answer, especially from the quarterback perspective as well as being a defensive coordinator. But I'll have that for you. Also, Ryan Grubb. I mean, if you've got time to kill tonight, listen to Ryan Grubb. He is fantastic yet again. But Ryan Grubb spoke a lot about Germ, the wide receiver room, the quarterback room. It was the offensive line and the reps in particular. But there is a lot of audio that I will get to here over the course of the next 2 hours, walking up to some football here tonight between the Chargers and the Lions.
You peel back the onion with the players, and he's like David Banner. You know, you don't like me when I'm angry.
I think I get more out of Ryan Grubb than I do even Kalen DeBoer.
In an earlier interview with a mutual friend of ours, he did admit that the last song he listens to when he gets off the bus and they're walking into the locker room before a game is Seek and Destroy. So you got to love that. Some Metallica.
Of course.
Early Metallica.
Yeah, actually, very early.
So, hey, here we go.
Yeah, Keith's high school days there.
So was that your pump-up song? What did you listen to before a game back in the day? Did you have those little foam?
No,
he had
the
Walkman.
He had a Walkman with a tape player. Yeah, that was tape player days, man.
Yeah.
You didn't have the CD yet. There wasn't
There wasn't no damn CDs yet.
You can make your own.
I'm trying to.
You'd make your own music.
The mixtapes.
Yeah.
The mix.
Used to love those mixtapes, man.
I used to make
so you could have one pump-up song after the other.
Yeah.
So the answer to the pump-up song for you is
a lot of AC/DC back then.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Even Bon Scott, the late great Bon.
No, come on now. I'm not.
Come on. Bon was in the early 80s too, though. People forget that.
Well,
82 was Back in Black.
Yeah, exactly.
That was Wes's senior year.
Let's find out from Coach Rivers, who's just called in. Philip Rivers, who is now entering his 5th season down there in Fairhope. Coach, how are you this evening, sir?
Hey, doing good. How y'all?
I really appreciate you calling in. What was your go-to pump-up song back in high school there for the Golden Eagles back in the day? What would get you pumped up, Coach?
Dang, I don't even remember. I'm thinking probably like, golly, that's a long time ago now. It shows you how old I'm getting, but maybe like Eye of the Tiger or something like that. You know?
There we go.
Fair
That's
enough.
a good one.
Fair enough. Coming off a very successful season last year, making it to the semis. Tell me what you like about your squad entering into year 5 for you, Coach.
Yeah, we're excited. Obviously, last year was a year of a lot of firsts for us. You know, it was our first time hosting a playoff game. It was our first time winning a playoff game, and then we got hot and went on a run there, beating Pleasant Grove and beating Fairfield after we beat Hanley, and coming up short against the Jackson team that won the state championship 69-6. So it was a heck of a year. I think this year we only lost 7 seniors, so we got a lot of guys back. I think the challenge this year for us is, we were still kind of like, oh yeah, well, St. Michael will be good one day. And so we still surprised some people. I think we surprised the Pleasant Grove. We surprised some teams. And now that's not going to be the case. So the challenge is, can we do it again? Can we do it again, have another year and be consistent day in and day out? And we're off to a good start. Here we are, day 4 of training camp. We had some good work this morning. Now we're about to go back out this afternoon here in a minute.
How many guys you got going back and forth playing both ways, Coach?
Well, if we are completely O&D to start.
Wow.
Okay. But like when we got in the playoffs, we probably had 5 or 6, 7 guys that played both ways. So we have some offensive guys that will definitely play some defensive snaps for us. But right now in this practice mode, we're split O&D, and it's been good. It gets a lot of guys a lot of reps.
Well, I imagine coaching your son. I know this is part of what you wanted to do, having that experience yourself. Tell me about coaching your son. How has that experience been for you, Coach?
Yeah, it's been a blast. It's been a blast. You know, I obviously growing up around my dad's teams at Decatur and Athens, and you know, being the ball boy and wanting to be his quarterback, and you know, I played in 51 college games and 250 NFL games, and still some of my greatest memories are playing for my dad at Athens and those Friday nights. You know, there's nothing like them. So I hope that Gunner's having that same experience and enjoying it as much as I did. I know I'm having a blast coaching him. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, and you know, I coached him in flag football and all the way up, and now here we are. He's going to be he's a junior, and he's about 6'4", 210 pounds now. So he's gotten big and strong, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, Coach, I haven't seen this is Drew DeArmond, seen your son Gunner on live yet in person. I've seen him on film, and it does take back a lot of memories because my cousin Janet Latham was on the staff at Athens when you were growing up and when you were at Decatur, and I know you know her well. And she told me about you coming up, and I just happened to be in the stands with former coach Paul Parvin and another good friend, and I think the first game you ever started at Athens, and it wasn't a real game yet. It was a jamboree game against Mayo Sal and Shades Valley over at Hartselle. And I remember watching you warm up, and I was like, good Lord, Janet was right. He certainly looks the part. And you guys were very impressive, and your son looks very impressive. But I wanted to ask you a long-winded question about your father, though. He started the program at Westfield when he followed you when you went to NC State, and he started that from scratch, and he built Decatur back up and certainly built that Athens program. What lessons have you kind of taken from him in building this program basically almost from scratch at St. Michael?
Yeah, well, I'd say he had great passion for the kids, for the young men, and you know, every day he brought that energy and that care for the guys. At least that's how I saw it through my eyes as a young boy, and yeah, and I think too he wanted them to be better for having been in the program. You know, of course, they wanted to win a bunch of games, and they won a bunch of games at Decatur, and we won a bunch of games at Athens. And he won a bunch of games at Wakefield and Raleigh. But it was more than that. It was about them being better men for having been in the program. And you know, one of the things he had told me over the years that he doesn't have state championship trophies, but he's got his trophies in his desk drawer, and it's the letters from players that played for him. You know, in 82 and 79 and 88 and 92. And, you know, hey, Coach, I played, this is such and such. And I played there. I was with you in 86 to 88. And I just want to tell you, I'm married. I got 3 kids. But those times at Decatur High playing for you and the toughness and the sacrifice and the teamwork and all that I learned is some of my favorite memories. So that there is what the impact we hope to have with these young men, and we want to win along the way. We want some of them that want to play college football to have that opportunity, all those things. But if we're not, the mission has got to be for them being better for having been in the program. It's got to be first, especially at this level.
Coach, I got to close with at least one Antonio Gates story. It's obviously a big weekend for him. Do you have a go-to Antonio Gates story, Coach?
Well, I think what I would tell you about Gates is he's one of the most competitive people I've ever been around. Gates, he would tell you he's never lost an argument. I mean, he and I would be arguing about something, and he's going to win the dang argument. He's going to win in dominoes. He's going to win when you're playing cards. I mean, we were in the sauna one day, about 6 of us sitting in the sauna, and we had it on for about 6. It was set the timer was for about 50 minutes, and he was. We got going for a while, and it's like, all right, we're all dying in there. And I was like, who's going to make it? Who's going to make it out? Who's going to make it the longest? And he wasn't going to leave. There was no chance he was going to leave. And finally, of course, we all kind of gave, and he won. But he's just competitive as heck. And he had a way. He knew we had other weapons on the field on our offense with LT and Vincent Jackson and Malcolm Floyd and Darren Sproles and other guys that got the football. But he wanted the football, and rightfully so. He's in my mind the greatest tight end of all time. And but he had a little subtle way to always tell me when he wanted the ball. He would break the huddle, and if this was it'd been a drought, maybe a couple of series in a row he hadn't touched it yet. he would pass by me and say, "Come on now," and it was his way of saying, "Throw me the football right now on this play." I was like, "I got you. That's all it took. Come on now."
Well, Coach, I've got to ask too, because I know how good a basketball player he was at Kent State before he ever played football. But you were a good basketball player in your own right. Played in the Huntsville City Classic. Did you guys ever play 1-on-1?
We played plenty of games of horse. We played in some pickup baskesketball at the YMCA. But he was unbelievable on the basketball court. But one game of horse I remember, because I could shoot it. I could shoot it a little bit, and so we were playing horse, and I was kind of getting hot a little bit, and he went to dunk one. I said, whoa, that can't be part of it now. That can't be part of it. That can't be part of it. This is just a shooting contest now. No dunking. But he was a heck of an athlete, heck of a basketball player, and obviously a Hall of Fame football player.
Yeah, a lot's been made about you being officially retired. Did it feel different signing those? Or did you sign papers? I don't even know. How was that announcement?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to retire a Charger. I mean, did 16 years, thankful to Spanoses, and it was just an opportunity. It actually helped with Gates going to the Hall of Fame because I was doing some video stuff for him, talking about the player and teammate he was. And then so I kind of brought it up to them, and they were like, heck yeah, let's do something. So, it was good. I've been out, right? This is going on to year 5. But just to officially finish with the Chargers was special.
Well, appreciate the time. I know you got Bayside coming up for game 1. Thank you so much for carving out some time for us, Coach.
No problem. Appreciate it, guys.
That is future Hall of Famer.
Well, and if you Google it, Steve, I think the head coach at Bayside Academy is Phil Lazenby, who I watched back in the day. He rose to prominence in Gunnersville. And got that program really rolling and left it.
Barrett Trotter.
Is it now? Well, okay, Trotter. So Coach retired, but at one time Lazenby took control of that program because he got Gunnersville rolling and then gave it to Phil Isom, his offensive coordinator, who won the state championship in 2006, and then Lazenby ended up moving on to other jobs. He's been in South Alabama now for a good while, but Barrett Trotter, that's an interesting name, blast from the past.
Yeah. Was Philip's dad the
Steve Rivers?
Was he the coach at Decatur in 87?
Yes.
86?
Yeah.
What about 86?
That's the same Rivers and went up to Athens.
I mean, we got screwed bad over there one night.
Well, you know what happens when you cross the river?
Yeah, you're down 14-0.
No, I'll say it on the air. I'll say it on the air, and I know I don't know if he's listening. I don't know how many
times I set up at Ogle, and the visiting broadcast would say, "Well, it's already 7-0."
Well, I mean, I will quote a good friend of both Keith and I's, and he coached Keith, but I'll quote my good friend John Kirk. I talked to Coach Kirk one night. We were going to Decatur. I said, Coach, this is it's always tough playing over here. He goes, Drew, when you cross that river in the Soviet Union, you're already down 14-0.
Soviet Union.
That's what he told me. He goes, you have to act like you're down 14-0.
Well, we actually beat ourselves before the game because we had lost to Johnson.
Yeah, they had tough battles, man.
And we lost to Johnson 7-3 on, once again, a bunch of controversial calls, a couple of pass interference calls. One that Pat Wynn was. I'm closer to you right now, Steve, than Pat Wynn was to the wide receiver. But anyway, so we kind of lost 2 games by worrying about that one loss, right?
About 1.5 feet between us for those.
Yeah, but it was more like 5 yards. So anyway, and then they called a fumble on Pat, and he actually fumbled after he got tackled and was getting back up.
Yeah.
It was a late hit first, not a fumble. But, that was and then I started yelling at the ref, and then I was threatened to be thrown out of the game, so I shut up.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see that game, but I heard about many stories. And
which one? The Johnson?
Yeah, the 7-3 game.
Yeah.
I know.
All right, so that's the last time they sold out in my from what I know. Last time they sold out Milton Frank Stadium.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. They were 1 or 2 in the state, and we were 4 or 5. I can't remember the rankings.
Ooh. Another big crowd I remember, this was several years later. This was the one year Howard Pride played football, and actually was an all-city receiver. Daryl Blackburn was playing for Butler, and then Israel Raymond, who's now working for Bill Penny Toyota. and then played professional football. Keith Humphrey, all those guys, they were Danny Dillard. They all played. They ended up meeting. I think this was the state semis. They got to the semis. It was Lee and Butler. Maybe it was either the quarters or the semis, and they had played a war in the regular season. They were in the same area, and they were both really, really good. It was a low-scoring game, and I believe Butler won a really low-scoring game. But yeah, that was a huge crowd. That's one of the last times I can remember two Huntsville city schools getting deep into the playoffs and having to play each other. It was either the quarters or the semis. I'd have to look it up, but it was in the early 90s, and it was a war.
It's been a minute.
So
it's been a minute.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'd have to go back and look. But I was trying to remember back in those days who Butler's football coach was, because it runs into kind of because the Alabama High School Football History website, they do a really good job of keeping up with that. I think Butch Weaver was coaching Lee because he coached Lee for quite a while.
Well, when I was there, it was Rabbit Thomas.
Oh yeah, Rabbit. Yeah,
but I guess he left soon after his son, probably.
Keith Wilson was after Coach Thomas. This is at Butler.
Yeah.
And then Michael Shipp.
That may have been Shipp.
From 88 to 91. And then Alfonso McGuire.
Coach McGuire, but I believe
92 to 95. And then Ron Daly from 96 to 03.
Ron Daly coached Ramsey and Darby, but
in terms of playoff wins, it's Michael Shipp, who had 4 playoff
I think it was
wins.
91 was that year.
Yeah, that was his last year.
I think Shipp was the coach. That kind of jars a memory. But I think he left after that season.
The Butler coach that has the most playoff wins, that's John Meadows.
Coach Meadows is a legend.
From 66 to 78, he was 5-5 in the playoffs.
And then he basically started Lincoln County's program. And and
like Coach Kurt, Coach Kinnear, all those guys are Meadows guys.
Yeah, Coach Meadows. Yep, he's a legend. He actually passed away a few years ago, but Coach Meadows was.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. Anyway,
a friend of mine played for him at Butler.
Let's go ahead and take our first time out. John McClain going to join us at the top of the hour. We'll talk a little NFL with him, as well as voting on Antonio Gates into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're at Full Moon Barbecue. Come on by.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey folks, Bobby White back again, and I'm here to tell you now is the time to get the Ford you've been thinking about. From 0 down leases to 0% financing, we've got it going on this summer. Woody Anderson Ford has financing as low as 0% for 48 months, plus 0 down payment, plus 0 payments for 90 days, plus 2-year 25,000-mile complimentary maintenance. You can choose a 2025 Escape, F-150, Explorer, or a Mustang. Or how about 0 down lease, $499 a month for a 2025 Explorer, F-150, or Bronco, and just $399 a month for Bronco Sport, Mustang, and Escape. Again, these are 0 down with complimentary maintenance too. This is a 36-month lease with 0 down, 0 security deposit, just tax, tag, title, and your good credit. These offers end 9/2/25. It's our Woody Anderson Ford Summer Sales Event, so hurry on down. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
It's an amazing time in our industry. Things are changing so rapidly. With digital signatures and workflow software, we help our customers work from anywhere. This helps you save time and money and upgrade your technology. Like I said, it's an amazing time to watch our customers grow and succeed.
Just ask anyone. I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com. ValueSeed.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor, a leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators, from the 30,000-pound mid-size one to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com, with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
There's a reason for the sunshine sky, and there's a reason.
I'm not sure if this is a good pump-up song. Is this a good pump-up song for football right here? I know we were talking pump-up songs. I don't think this is probably an accurate portrayal of a pump-up song.
No, the slowest one.
No, it's if you're looking at the cheerleaders in the band.
Well,
the slowest song that starts is Phil Collins'
In the Air Tonight.
In the Air Tonight?
You can do that one.
That is...
This is definitely not a pump-up song.
That has a different meaning to me right now because Nova Southeastern plays that before every warm-up.
Yeah.
Down there in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
And they've kicked our tail.
What, they're going to break up with you? Or?
Anyway,
In the Air Tonight was one of the first songs on the mixtape.
Okay.
Yeah. It was one to get it going a little bit.
Gotcha.
And it had a little Ozzy, too.
Yeah.
You were asking me.
I used to think that song was about a murder. Then I found out it's about a divorce.
Same thing.
Well, I set that up for Brian.
The only difference is you smell the flowers.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, boy.
Someone else still carries you out. I mean, you know.
Well done, sir. Well done. So circle gets the square right there.
Thank you, Tom Bergeron.
Back here at Full Moon Barbecue, it is the unofficial start to the football season, and there is a lot to sift through. But, you know, I thought it was only appropriate, since it is football season, to I mean, we all grew up on NFL films. At least it was part of ESPN and just. But what started NFL films was this.
They call it pro football is a milestone for NFL films. It was called the Citizen Kane of football movies when it was released 40 years ago. No one had seen anything quite like it. It was the story of pro football told on an epic scale, and it brought together, for the first time, the music of composer Sam Spence and the voice of narrator John Facenda. We wanted to make a film that reflected the power and passion of the game. Sam's music and John's voice helped us achieve that goal. They were like Unitas and Berry, or Montana and Rice. They were an unbeatable team, and They Call It Pro Football was the perfect showcase for their talents.
This is NFL Action, and I'm Pat Summerall. Like an all-pro football player, an award-winning film is the best in its class. They call it pro football, which you're about to see, has won a multitude of honors. It was the first American film in 28 years to win the grand prize at the Cortina Film Festival and was recently honored with first prize at the Sport Film Festival in Oberhausen, Germany. It is a film that speaks an international language, the beauty and violence of professional football.
It was a game a handful of spectators came to see. A tug of war, 22 nameless men grappling in the mud. They called it pro football.
Yeah, you line up here, get a program. Football line up here. Got to take it down, fella. Yeah, you line up here, get a program. Yeah, football line up here, get a program.
I did edit this.
You're
going to be sorry when you're sober.
We tell our ball carrier to come across hard and fast till he gets the ball. Once he gets it, to come under control and button hook slightly. Key the block on the linebacker, or key the block of the YN. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
Jim Taylor, number 31, is a fullback.
So, again, I just tried to piece together maybe the more memorable parts. It's 30 minutes long.
Oh, it is. No, one of the best stories that I've ever read or heard him, and of course heard him verbally talk about it, is one of the people that was there at a clinic when he was explaining that play. And, of course, that was the great Vince Lombardi and the Packers sweep, was the one and only John Madden.
Oh,
and
wow,
he said,
really?
I was there. And I listened to Vince Lombardi talk about this one play for 3 hours. And he said, man, I thought I knew some football until I listened to Vince Lombardi talk about one play for hours.
So that does lead into a little bit of what Kirby Smart was asked today. Biggest change of college football since 2016. This is Kirby's 10th year as head coach at the University of Georgia.
Wow.
So he was asked, and here was Kirby's answer earlier today.
Yeah, the biggest area that's changed is the demand and decision-making it's put on a quarterback. I think, 2016, you would have said RPOs were existent and people were doing them. They're at a higher rate now, but it's just a combination of motions and width of the formation. I mean, 2016, you were seeing 50, 60, 70% of spread out formations. They called it a spread offense because it was spread out. Well, now it's, okay, there's a taste of tempo in our league. There's a taste of shift motion. People are always moving sideways, trying to leverage the defense, eye candy, I would call it, along with a decision for the quarterback. Do I hand it, A? Do I pull it, B? Or do I don't hand it, don't pull it, and throw it? See, they're getting 3 options on almost every play. So a lot of people don't, the average fan is not aware of the demand of what the quarterback's having to decide, and they certainly aren't aware of what the defense is having to defend, because the eyes of the defense have to be in multiple places. There's a play on this side of the formation, there's a play on this side of the formation, and then there's an interior play. So there's 3 plays, and the defense is having to defend more of it. So it's become tougher to defend. It's also become, probably less of a quarterback having to change the protection and play the quarterback position that the NFL would like to have, and more of a go tempo, dummy it down a little bit, and let the quarterback make easy decisions and make throws and runs that make it really hard to defend. So it's become much harder, and our game is trickling up to the NFL because you see it more and more in their game.
Thoughts?
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I would see Hayden's playbook, and I guess third down, that's probably first and second. Third and long is probably still old school football.
Mm-hmm.
Because the quarterbacks are doing all that, but they're also having, if you're a wide receiver at Georgia, at Alabama, Auburn, all these schools,
yeah,
and you're running a route,
yeah,
it could be 3 routes depending on what the coverage is. So wide receivers have to read coverages while they're running their routes. And the quarterback has to see that same coverage that you see, because you're supposed to run different routes, against different coverages. So you're always in the right play. And sometimes you'll see like a really bad throw, You think, what what was that? Well,
Yeah.
probably either the quarterback read the wrong coverage or the wide receiver ran the wrong route because he read the wrong coverage. But then you throw in all that, what Kirby was saying, it's they got to play for one side, a play for another side, and then a play up the middle.
Yeah,
and it's all how does what's the defense
That's why we
coming
get
up?
Spider 2 wide banana.
No, well, that was old school.
Well, I know. So even that was old school.
Yeah, that's old West Coast offense.
Yeah.
So that's that Spider 2 wide banana is just that was one of San Francisco plays that Gruden and all those guys would run down close to the goal line because the wide banana was almost always wide open.
And you knew we'd see it. Antonio Gates on the big screen against Alabama in the NCAA tournament playing basketball.
Oh, is that what you see behind us?
I Rod Grizzard. I knew it was coming because they were.
Well, and evidently dunking was not part of the horse.
Well, like I said, they played against Alabama in the round of 32 to go to the Sweet 16, and it was a really good Alabama team in 02 that won the SEC. And Stan Heath was the coach of Kent State, and that Kent State team was really good. But everybody thought Alabama would win and move on to the Sweet 16, but not that day. Kent State controlled that game from the tip, won it, went on to the Sweet 16, and then Stan Heath went on to Arkansas.
I can
so we
tell
know that didn't work out.
That audio clip from Kirby Smart was very, he was captured by that audio clip.
As you know, now I got a little Georgia interest myself.
Well, I mean, I actually thought Kirby would talk
Dogs.
about roster building and NIL, not really the style of play, but that's an interesting, thought from that. And, Kirby talking about the quarterback position and what's on a QB. And there's a lot on a quarterback. There's no doubt about it. It's a QB-driven game, much like the NFL is. If you don't have a quarterback, you're dead in the water.
I think he was talking more of a defense.
He was,
as a
and how you attack a QB, but you got to have a quarterback.
How you have to defend the entire field.
Yeah.
It's like when,
and nobody spreads out, especially a couple of years ago when Hendon Hooker was at Tennessee. That Tennessee offense that year, I mean, it went from sideline to sideline.
It's like what Coach Saban said playing, Auburn with Gus Malzahn. There's like every play is like covering a punt. You better stay in your lane.
Yep.
If somebody gets out of a lane, it's going to be a big play.
Mm-hmm. So I found that to be interesting. Ryan Grubb spoke to the media today. How about QB1? We are all under the assumption that QB1 is
Ty Simpson.
He's got to do it every day between now and Florida State. When we start that preparation, and just whoever that person is has got to come out and be able to show that it's clearly him. And that's what this football team needs. And all three of those guys know that. And so I think being able to show up and do that every day and not waver in and out of the type of player he is, the type of decision maker he is, the inconsistencies that a young quarterback would show, or a quarterback that's not ready to start. So as long as Ty can do that, or one of the other guys, that's going to be the player that's going to start a quarterback.
That is Ryan Grubb from earlier today. I mean, he's not saying he's our starter, but it's July 31st. I mean, I get that. I understand that. How competitive?
He's never started a game, so
that's true. Like I said yesterday, only snaps that he's taken that meant anything were 2 years ago against South Florida when Tyler Buckner got off to that slow start and he had to come off the bench, and was probably the ugliest win of the Saban era from the standpoint of who they were playing and the caliber of team, even though that team actually from South Florida was better than people thought it was going to be. They went on and won a bowl game, but Alabama was 3 touchdown favorites, and they had to score with under a minute to go, tied at 3 to win the game. Ty Simpson snuck it over from the goal line, and they won 10-3. And I thought it might lead to Ty playing the next week, but we know what it was. It was a 1-game suspension for Milroe, and he responded and came back and had a really good year for Alabama.
What game was it where he had was it a 40 or 50 or 60-yard run and
70
Mississippi
plus,
State?
And he
can run though.
He did
a lot of people don't understand.
He did the Ocho Cinco. He left it at left it at the point.
The Ocho Cinco. Coach Grubb was also asked about the left guard battle between Gino Van DeMart as well as Cam Dewberry. And here is what Coach Grubb had to say on that.
Yeah, Dewberry and Gino have been battling out over there primarily. And, both those guys, Cam has done a really good job of being mobile and physical at the point of attack. Gino is a super savvy player, can play all over the place, can snap a ball, play center, play guard, and I think the physicality piece is going to be a big part. Playing next to KP, obviously, takes a little heat off of them just as far as, where they're at. But also you can look at it in terms of it might put some pressure on them too, because that's the side of the ball where we're going to want to be able to be aggressive and go after people.
What do you make of the left guard battle?
I think it's Cam Dewberry. I think Gino's versatility is going to make him very valuable. And again, it's not like this coaching staff doesn't play guys. They rotate. They'll give a guy a series or two, but Gino can play left guard, right guard, and center. Okay, so and again, ultimately, one of these guys is going to get banged up, probably in the interior. So his experience and versatility is very valuable. Look, to me, when you're purposeful in the portal and you sign a Dewberry, you sign him because he has played a lot of football for A&M. He has started in the SEC, and very likely you're signing him to start. That's just the way it is, because right now Michael Carroll looks like he's going to at least spend this year as the backup right tackle to Wilkin Formby. He's a true freshman. Many thought he might be in the left guard mix. So far he hasn't been, and neither has Olas Alina. Alina's had to play tackle. He's had to play left tackle because, again, they don't have a lot of depth at the offensive tackle spot, especially experience-wise. So, and now they've got Jackson Lloyd as a true freshman left tackle as well to develop. But, they need bodies at tackle. And so I think Gino's ability to play all three of the spots is going to make him kind of the swing guy.
Before we take our final break, Jay from Athens has called in. You can certainly call in as well at 256-576-4977.
And I can guarantee you Jay from Athens saw Phillip Rivers play in high school.
How are you, Jay?
I'm good, man. How are you?
You're just as old as we are, Jay.
Hey. Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, I saw Phillip play. What a great player, and what a great deal him signing a one day contract to retire as a Charger. That was pretty nice.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Drew, he's talking about that South Florida game. It's been one of the ugliest ones in Saban's history, probably. Wasn't that the game at the end after everything was over? When Jalen Milroe's daddy had to come apart out there by the team bus?
Yes.
Had to bring that up, didn't you, Jay? Had to bring that up.
I had someone on the scene that was reporting that play by play.
Oh, yeah, you just about sentence by sentence.
Yeah, I was getting it text by text and then got a phone call.
Well, keep in mind there was a rain delay or a lightning delay in that game, too.
It was insane, yeah.
And that rant may have caused Ty not to start this following week or whatever. But anyway, Drew, with losing Tank, are we going to lose Golden as well?
Well, we'll see. Right now, I would have said yesterday it was going to be Notre Dame or Oklahoma, and that's what I'd been hearing. I will in the coming days, we'll find out. I would still say very likely it would be one of those two, but it'll depend on Alabama's aggression and, if Freddie Roach locks in and tries to finish this cycle strong, because he's had a good cycle, and today had nothing to do with him. So as I said on my account, I'm not putting this one on Freddie Roach. Now, you could say that, because I do think Tank will ultimately be a defensive lineman, that the lack of development and pros being turned out in the last 5 years may have had something to do, a small thing to do with it. But again, he wasn't his recruiter. It was Christian Robinson who did a great job. Didn't get the kid, at least for now. Probably won't get the kid. But again, I'm not putting this one on Freddie. I've been hard on him, but this didn't have anything to do with Roach.
We are right up against the break. Anything else?
Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I'm heading over here to Bridge Street to see nothing but a winner. So that's the truth.
Get ready. Get ready. Showtime's 7 o'clock. And
ready to see it with some friends of mine. So, guys, appreciate you taking my call. Y'all have a great rest of the day.
Enjoy it, Jay.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, I want to go see it just to see the interview of Coach Saban after the credits roll.
But my buddy Freddie Kirby was going to go with me tomorrow, but then he got a free ticket and free dinner from somebody, so he's going in Decatur. So I said, hey, go ahead, brother. So have at it.
Yeah, there's showings at the AMC Theater on 4 Mile Post
which is about 4 miles from me.
Yeah, and then over at Bridge Street, as Jay just mentioned.
I think Bridge Street is just today from
7 o'clock.
Looking.
Yeah,
and
7 o'clock.
I did see they may have another one at 7:40 at Bridge Street, but
I didn't see
Is
that.
it the one where you can get wine in there?
Yeah, that's the one.
It is.
Yeah. Trust me, a friend of mine had a little bit one night. But
we do need to take our final time.
But
out.
yeah, it's either 1 or 2 showings there, and that's only today. But they will have showings at AMC, the Valley Bend, about 4 miles from me, as you talked about at Jones Valley, on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then 1 showing on Sunday. So those are confirmed that you'll be able all weekend to see it at Valley Bend.
Let's take our final time out. We're about 15 minutes away from John McClain talking a little pro football here on The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
John Abraham here with Bobcat of Huntsville. Men, the season is upon us. This is what all the playbooks have prepared us for. But here, there's no need for a 3-4 defense because we're not talking about the football season. We're talking about the get-done season. Starting August 13th, Bobcat of Huntsville will have a full line of steel products for you to throw at those jobs you've been putting off until now. So put away those fantasy draft notes and pick up the tool you've been waiting for because it's time to get it done. Bobcat of Huntsville, right off of Highway 20 in Madison.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Book nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms remain in the forecast for this Thursday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the mid to low 70s for the overnight tonight. Heading into our Friday, another warm afternoon, low 90s for high temperatures, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
John McClain, about 10 minutes away, back here at Full Moon Barbecue. If you're watching on WZZN TV, I did not put it on us. You're just like your brother in that regard. I had it pointed towards this back wall to my left where there is a Tua jersey.
Oh.
But right above the camera is a Dante Hightower jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And you're also seeing the NHL Network as well. But
So
a bunch
riveting.
of come on now, don't be like that. I'm a hockey guy. We got the schedule for the Huntsville Havoc that came out earlier this week.
Well, they're a machine.
In fact, I think they're doing their jersey reveal. There's a new logo coming out tonight as well.
Logos are important, and I'm serious because you're trying to sell gear, man. Lord knows I got too much.
Well, I went by UAH today and got some new gear.
Oh, they gave you with the new stuff.
Yeah, they gave it.
There you go.
At least
I don't
the
have any.
softball program.
I've got what you would call all the, I guess all the retro stuff now.
I have too much of the retro stuff.
Mine will be retro.
Yeah, I've got this one shirt that Lenny gave me a long time ago. It's faded.
Just call it throwback. It'll make you feel better about it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there you go. Throwback. There you go, Brian.
And I think it was Tommy Murr said, "How old is that?" And I said, "Older than you."
So when Wesley left Alabama, I got a Tiger Woods half zip. I guess it was playoff or national champion.
Oh yeah, they give you the playoff gear. Yeah,
I got the playoff gear.
Nice.
Hayden's tried to steal it more than once. But.
Yeah. That stuff's expensive too, bro.
It is.
I would always try to be strategic and find some Nike outlet where they would knock it half off right after the playoffs. Then you could really be slick and get you something good.
Well, don't buy it in the stadium. I'll tell you that. Don't buy it in the stadium.
Oh Lord.
I did get a quarter zip, and of all the quarter zips of all the national championship games that I attended, which one do you think I did?
Bought it before the game?
Yeah,
2017.
2017.
You bought it before the game. You never do that, man.
You jinx
it. You know what I'm saying?
Is that what it is?
No, but I will say this.
Second and 26 is
my lesson was, now you can laugh at me, I did it in 21. But I bought just a.
See, I did not.
All it was it was saying that Alabama was in the BCS national chart, in the college football playoff national championship game, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I thought, well, I'm at the game. I might as well buy one. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And then they lost. No. And I shouldn't have because it cost like $40.
That's what I'm saying. Alabama won so many.
I still have
you don't buy it before.
I still have about 8 programs from that game at the house. It's a one win, but that's a big one win.
Yeah, sounds like
it's a big one win. Anyway.
It was a horrible fourth quarter.
I did not buy a quarter zip in Indianapolis, although it was cold enough to should have bought a quarter zip.
Good Lord, you get about a lot more than a quarter zip.
Well, that was the year where they gave us a scarf and a toboggan.
Oh.
That's when everybody came home sick too, right?
Yeah, we all got
No, that was New Orleans when Wes and I went down there for the LSU.
Wes was
Clemson.
COVID.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey, folks, Bobby White back again, and I'm here to tell you now is the time to get the Ford you've been thinking about. From 0 down leases to 0% financing, we've got it going on this summer. Woody Anderson Ford has financing as low as 0% for 48 months, plus 0 down payment, plus 0 payments for 90 days, plus 2-year, 25,000-mile complimentary maintenance. You can choose a 2025 Escape, F-150, Explorer, or a Mustang. Or how about zero down lease? $4.99 a month for a 2025 Explorer, F-150, or Bronco. And just $3.99 a month for Bronco Sport, Mustang, and Escape. Again, these are zero down with complimentary maintenance too. This is a 36-month lease with zero down, zero security deposit, just tax, tag, title, and your good credit. These offers end 9/2/25. It's our Woody Anderson Ford Summer Sales Event, so hurry on down. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Sports Center.
In the NFL, Commanders receiver Terry McLaurin requesting a trade. Two-time Pro Bowl continuing to look for a contract extension, missed mandatory minicamp and held out to start training camp. McLaurin has been a 1,000-yard receiver for each of the last 5 years, had a career-high 13 touchdown grabs in 2024. Time expired on the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Flurry of activity. Carlos Correa heading back to Houston, waiving his no-trade clause for a trade back to the Astros, where he was an All-Star and a World Series champion. Correa agreeing to play third next to Jeremy Pena. He's owed a combined $91.5 million from 2026 to 2028. Twins taking on $33 million in salary. The Padres and GM A.J. Preller always active, acquiring A's closer Mason Miller to bolster an already strong bullpen, parting with a couple of top prospects. San Diego also adding Orioles all-star first baseman Ryan O'Hearn and outfielder Ramon Laureano. O'Hearn has an .810 OPS with 13 homers this season. Laureano playing good defense, has an almost 900 OPS with 15 homers. O's weren't done selling, trading center fielder Cedric Mullins to the Mets. Mullins, a free agent to be, hitting .229 with 9 homers in 91 games this season. New York had been looking for an outfield upgrade. In the NBA, the Knicks are locking in a key piece of their core, signing Mikal Bridges to a 4-year, $150 million extension, averaged 18 points per game in his first year with the Knicks.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming on Friday, I'll tell you the one quarterback head coach combo without a Super Bowl title that I trust the most heading into this upcoming season. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Back here at Full Moon Barbecue, Keith Neighbors, Drew DeArmond, Steve Moulton here with you, walking you up to the unofficial start of the football season. You are going to hear Chargers and Lions in 1 hour time right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. So it's only natural, since we're talking about Canton, to bring in John McClain, who you can see him as well as follow him on X or Twitter at McClain_on_NFL. So, John, I'm reading this. Is this your 49th year covering the NFL this year?
Absolutely, it is. 49 this time of the year. Actually, I'm not fired up about this time of the year. I hate preseason. I want regular season to start Sunday. I can't wait for the regular season. Can't wait for the college football season. Let's get all this BS out of the way so they can start playing real ball.
Fair enough. We did have the pleasure of talking to Phillip Rivers last hour and spoke obviously quite glowingly about Antonio Gates. Can you put me inside the room? How easy of a sell was that inside the room for Antonio Gates, sir?
Well, he didn't make it on the first ballot last year, and then he made it this year. And when we're voting on the Hall of Fame, we don't sit there and say this guy doesn't deserve this because we look at positives. Sometimes it's because guys who have been waiting longer, and somebody who presented Andre Johnson last year, and it was his third shot. I was glad to see him get in because we knew Gates would get in the second year. And, of course, it was an easy decision because he was a great example of all the basketball players who've gone on to play in the NFL. He was, I'm guessing he was the best ever because he was a touchdown machine, and Phillip Rivers is the one that threw him most of those passes.
Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer?
Oh, he won't be on the first ballot, but one of the things is, Phillip, people will listen to the presentation that'll be made. I've had people change my mind. I go into every Hall of Fame selection meeting wide open-minded. Sometimes people make presentations, give you things that blow you away, and because you just never know. But I do not think he'll make it on the first ballot.
So that being said, what was the one presentation that changed your mind the most, if you remember?
Dan Hampton. Dan Hampton was on the greatest defense in history, not statistically. That was the Ravens. But I think anybody that watched the 1985 Bears with Mike Ditka as the head coach and Buddy Ryan as the defensive head coach would say that was the most dominant defense ever. And they had Hall of Famers on the defensive line: Richard Dent, now Steve McMichael, and Dan Hampton, of course, Mike Singletary, first ballot. But Hampton didn't make it, and for his early, when he was eligible, and it was hilarious because the night before we voted, I believe Dan got arrested. I don't remember if it was DWI or what, but the camera that the cop was wearing showed him, and it was put out publicly. And he was begging the guy, "Don't, you can't. I got a chance to go in the Hall of Fame. They're never going to take me if they see this." He didn't know that what happens off the field is not something we could consider. But the reason I changed my mind, his presenter, Don Pearson, who covered the Bears forever, one of the greatest media people in NFL history, came in armed with some statistics that things, for instance, that when Hampton was at right tackle, what the defense did; when he was at end, what the defense did; and when he was out, what the defense and the team did. And there was a huge discrepancy when he was out, not in the game, on that defense. And then he had Mike Singletary, one of the most trusted players in history, explaining exactly why that was. And talking about his value to the defense, while it didn't show up with a lot of sacks or interceptions or things like that, how important he was to that team that won the Super Bowl and went to the playoffs several years in a row. And after listening to that, I changed my vote.
And from previous conversations, in terms of maybe the easiest sell, I'm trying to remember who exactly it was, but you've told me this and told us here on the show of someone standing up and saying, "Ladies and gentlemen," and the name, and then they sit down. I wanted to say it was Jerry Rice, but I can't remember the exact name. Did I get that right or wrong?
No, you got it right, Steve. And the first time it happened, since then, it happens a lot because they're no-brainers. The first one was the late, great Miami Herald columnist Edwin Pope, who'd been on the committee forever, and Dan Marino was in his first year of eligibility. And Ed stood up and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Marino," and sat. And so with like Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, Jerry Rice, there's no need to waste our time by going over a bunch of stats and things that we know that he's a no-brainer, so let's get on with it. And before the NFL Network, we had a time limit on making sure we got things out quick enough for the network, which we thought was ridiculous, that we should be rushed because of TV, but it was a sign of the times. But before that, we might have meetings that went 9.5 and 10 hours. And then I came to appreciate the network because so much of the stuff was repetitive. So then I'm like, "God, thank you," because we know we'll be done 8 or 8.5 hours. And then they moved it earlier to where during the pandemic, we did Zooms, and they moved it to earlier. So it's about 2 weeks early, and we don't know. We don't know till it's announced, or unless somebody breaks it. But this year's class is the smallest since 2005. The hall made some changes that made it more difficult, which I didn't like because I think there are so many worthy Hall of Famers out there. There's so many members of all decade teams that haven't even been in the finals, so we can discuss them. And I think that I don't like the fact that there are only 4 members.
Will we probably see, ladies and gentlemen, Drew Brees? Something that simple?
Next year, there's 2 locks, Breeze and Larry
Fitzgerald.
And we've talked about this before. We try to serve history. There's so many guys who've waited for so long who made incredible impacts at their position, on their teams, on the league, and they can't get in. And then they go into what's called the swamp, the senior pool. And so, like Jason Witten, to me, is a no-brainer, Hall of Famer, great tight end from the Cowboys. But so was Antonio Gates. So for that reason, it could be that Jason has to wait a year like Gates did while we put somebody in that's also worthy but is having to wait longer.
What is the likelihood Bill Belichick gets in next year?
Oh, about as likely as him falling in love with a woman 40 years, Junior.
It's kind of what I thought.
No-brainer.
It's kind of what I thought.
Of course, Bill will get in. At one point, coaches had to wait 5 years like players. And then we're like, well, that's not fair because they're coaching all the way to 65. My God, 65-year-old coach like Pete Carroll, in Belichick. If we make them wait 80 till they're 85, till 5 years after they're done, you might have to be up there in wheelchairs. So I like it now. I can't remember if we changed the rule yet. It might be 2 years. They wanted to avoid situations like Mike Ditka and Joe Gibbs being in the Hall of Fame and coming back. I'm like, so what if they come back? If they're in the Hall of Fame and they want to come back, by God, they deserve it. And so I think coaches, as soon as they retire, should be eligible for the Hall of Fame. If they want to come back, more power to them.
At least people of my generation, Brent Musburger being honored with the Pete Rozelle, I just that feels a tad overdue as well. Is that at all a conversation that you guys have, or how does that process work, John? I don't know.
The way that works, every year there is one writer who is put in on a vote by the Pro Football Writers of America. I was fortunate to go in 2006. And the woman who won the Pete Rozelle Award, which is picked by the Hall of Fame, and we have no say in that year, it was Leslie Visser. And so Leslie and I got to ride in the parade on the back of vintage cars. I was on the back of a red Corvette convertible riding in a parade with 200,000 people cheering, including yelling out for me, "Way to go, John," because on the side it told what award I'd won. And in our profession, and Ms. Musburger knows this, there's no greater honor for somebody who's covered the NFL. Now, Brent's done a lot of other things, continues to do a lot of other things, but it's still, when you're in the Hall of Fame and you're there making a speech with all those greats there at the head podium, and in my case, I went as fast as I could because I knew I was the last person they wanted to hear from. But in Brent's so interesting and so famous, people would not be eager to get him off the stage. But it'll be a great honor for him, and I'm so glad he got it.
And it's interesting you go there because I've interviewed Mr. Musburger a couple of times, but the one game that I always go back to was an NBA game that he called between the Suns and the Celtics. I want to say that was in about 76, where the Celtics ultimately won, and it would have been so much bigger for the Suns for obvious reasons. But that game just went on and on and on, and the way he told it was just I mean, I'm telling you, John, it's one of my favorite games I've ever heard from any broadcaster.
Well, I was only 4 at the time, Steve, so I remember though as one of the most.
But should I mention
games.
this is your 49th year covering the National Football League right now? Or?
And I started when I was 4. So actually, 49th and my 52nd in the business, but I'll never forget that game. That to me, that might be the most exciting game I've ever seen.
Wow. I mean, and I did. I mean, truth be told, I did not watch it live, but I saw it on NBA Network, and then I just there was this VHS tape back in the day where it was a behind the scenes, and it had the whole game, and I was just I'm still heck, I'm talking about it now, but
a lot of listeners, excuse me, Steve, a lot of listeners don't realize that the NBA playoffs used to be put on tape delay after the last sportscast on TV at 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern, and then they would put on CBS or ABC the playoff game from earlier that night. That's how little interest there was in the NBA, even though the Celtics were winning 10 championships, and Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain were two of the greatest big men in history, and Oscar Robertson, the Big O, who's still alive and looks great at 86. There at Jerry West, there were some incredible players, but there just wasn't the interest in football and baseball. And when I was young, me and my friends would watch it. And after it's over with the commercials and everything, it might be over at 1 o'clock. We'd go out in the driveway and pretend we were those players till the neighbors called the cops and told us to quit making so much noise.
Drew DeArmond, who's sitting across from me, I kind of grew up during the heyday of Magic and Bird and that, right? And you're right. Every single time you'd go out and want to just start shooting hoops, and it's still with me to this day. Although my shot's not as nearly as good as it was.
Everybody wanted to be Dr. J because the
NBA
and the red, white blue basketballs were such a big deal. Those were fun times when we were young. The Bird and Magic saved the NBA, and they did it after that championship in '79, and they turned the league around, and now it makes billions and billions and billions.
Yes, it does. Talking a little NBA here with John McClain.
and I wanted to ask you, John, this is Drew DeArmond. I wanted to pivot one more time because I know you're a very proud Baylor alumnus. Tell us about your thoughts on Baylor and Auburn this season opener.
Here we go.
Well, it's interesting. It is a really big game for Baylor fans. Baylor started slow last year. They had a quarterback named Daquan Finn who looked like he was a submarine pitcher. Why the coaches must have had dreams and think he could actually throw the ball. And then he got hurt. They had to bring in their backup, Sawyer Robertson, and he came and lit it up. And he was great. The offense is great. They got all their top players back. Their defense is okay. And people are saying, well, it's going to be hot in Waco. And I'm like, well, my God, it's hot in Alabama. That's not going to affect.
We can vouch for that.
And so I saw where Paul Feinbaum said it was the most important game in Auburn's season. And I'm like, don't they play Alabama? And I could say, since Baylor doesn't play A&M in Texas anymore and is in the Big 12, which is really the Big 16, it's one of the most important openers Baylor's ever had because it's a measurement, a barometer to see where they stand coming off their spectacular finish last year. They lost to LSU in the bowl game, and Sawyer Robertson was great. He's a big-time NFL prospect, and I think that'll bear it out. 6'4", 220, he can throw, he can run, and I know Auburn will have its hands full trying to contain him, but everybody I know down here in Houston who's from Baylor already has tickets. Most of them have season tickets, including me, but I gave mine to my family. And It's a really good offense. Auburn's defense is going to have to play really well for them to come home with a victory.
Well, it is a big game for Hugh in a big way because his recruiting has not been, at least this cycle, up to at least the last cycle. And so that makes it even another layer to how big that game is for Hugh on a Friday night, no less.
At 8 o'clock.
Yeah, which
well,
still be hot.
On Fox, and it's a great time period because you want people to take notice. Auburn doesn't need people to take notice. They've won multiple national championships. Baylor does. The Big 12, the SEC, anytime Big 12 wins a game over SEC, it's extra because the SEC is the best conference top to bottom. So I think they're going to get really good ratings. Now, what they should have done is taken Texas and the Ohio State and put them in prime time as the only game in town. Those ratings would be through the roof because I've been watching college football since 1960 when I was a Cub Scout and went to a Baylor, Colorado game and Baylor won, and I fell in love with the Bears. And my dad told me that night when I told him, he said, "Well, be ready to experience a lot of heartache." And I didn't understand then, but it didn't take me long to figure out what he was talking about. And I have never seen anticipation of a college game with Texas and Ohio State because of who they are, two wealthiest teams in the country, and Arch Manning. Arch Manning is under more pressure than any, and he's not a first-time starter. He had two, but regular starter since I can remember. And that is a tough place to play. They should have put them prime time by themselves so the ratings would start it through the roof.
So, John, you might appreciate this. At SEC Media Days, I went up to Kirk Bowles, who you probably know very well, who came out with the story of 35 to 40 million for the Longhorn football team and said, "Is that accurate?" And he looked at me and said, "I may have lowballed it."
Well, here's the deal. They got a lot more than that. Here's the, teams have to distribute an equal amount. But if you have your collective, like Texas Tech has one guy, Cody Campbell, who's worth about $14 billion, telling the coaches at Texas Tech, whatever you need, I will get you. They're number 2 to Texas in NIL expenditures. They're number 1 in the most portal guys coming in there. They have the second easiest schedule. Their coach, Joey McGuire's got to be under more pressure than any coach in the league because he gets everything. So they get the what is it, $25 million to distribute?
20.5. 20.5,
yep. They're giving an offensive tackle $5 million. That's not coming out of the 20. That's coming from the collective, and the collective have to prove to the NCAA they're not just giving those kids the money, they're earning it. And I guess he'd go, mow Cody Campbell's yard or something like that. But giving $5 million to an offensive tackle who is not going to win or lose a game, it's just blowing us away here. And I've said this on my talk shows around the country I do every week, and I want to tell y'all, if indeed Nick decides he might want to come back coaching, people think he wants to come to the NFL. What if Cody Campbell were to say to him, "Coach, how's $30 million a year? You can have one of my planes whenever you need it, and whatever you need, I will give you for players." And that would be pretty hard to turn down. And somebody goes, "Oh my God, Nick Saban to Lubbock." And I said, "Bobby Knight to Lubbock?"
He did.
Bobby Knight could do it. Why would Nick Saban? And no offense, Tuscaloosa is not Maui. And so
no offense
I'm not
taken.
saying this is going to happen. But if Saban wants to come back and Joey McGuire gets fired, I'll guarantee you that the Red Raiders will be reaching out to Saban to offer him a blank check. Now, that's just what Nick needs is more money. You know, he's going to the poorhouse with all his car dealerships and his investments and his commercials. What they should do is give him some more commercials, because I think I've gone 10 minutes without seeing him on one. And so I think it'd be great if Nick came back, and all those reasons he left, he wouldn't have to worry about anything. All he'd have to worry about getting people to go to Lubbock. But when you're offering left tackles $5 million, it's not that hard. And when you're offering a softball pitcher $1 million a year, it's not that hard.
Well, and John, I've got to ask you this. This is a hypothetical, and Coach Saban hates hypotheticals. This has to do with the NFL. He and his wife had a great experience in Baton Rouge. I've gone over this with some of my colleagues. Just hypothetically, I don't think it's going to happen, but in 2 years, when Arch Manning was ready to come out, if the Saints were still awful, had the first pick, and they hired Nick Saban, and Arch Manning went to his hometown to New Orleans, what would that do to the NFL if Saban were coaching the Saints and Arch was playing for them?
I think a lot of that would be, what do Archie and Peyton and the little Eli, and of course his dad Cooper, what do they think about it? Some people leave their hometown, they don't want to go back. And some people would love to go back. There's talk right now. Everybody I know says Arch Manning will stay 2 years. But if the Saints have the top pick, would he possibly consider coming out after one? And here's another thing, the Browns. Well, ordinarily it's like, I'm not going to Cleveland and play in that stadium right there on the water and throw in my passes, complete 40% of my passes like Anthony Richardson does indoors. But they got a new stadium. They're going to have a new stadium, looks like, in 3 or 4 years. Would he consider it? Because Jimmy Haslam knows Peyton Manning really well from Tennessee. Peyton knows the governor. He knows the dad that runs the University of Tennessee. So that would be a possibility too. But the fact is, Nick would be what, 74 then? He
74, I think.
Yeah,
yes,
probably
sir.
74.
Same
Yes,
age. And Pete Carroll, he'll coach until he drops dead. And of course, he looks younger than all of them.
Yeah.
And coach, we're going to see more and more coaches coach in their 70s, just like more and more players are playing into their late 30s and 40s, because they stay in such great shape because there's so much money to be made. And I think football is not as interesting without Saban in it. And it's funny, I mentioned Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll in 1988, when the Oilers were looking for a secondary coach, and Pete got crossways after an interview with Jerry Glanville, the head coach, and then Nick got the job and stayed for 2 years. Nicky Martini, they called it, for obvious reasons. And Nick Satan, the defensive backs called him Satan because he was so tough on him. So I'll bet you he wouldn't mind going back, but he would have to have total control, which he did not have with the Dolphins.
That's very true.
Well, it also need a stamp from Miss Terry too.
Yep.
As well. But who knows? Who knows?
She
Finally
might
for
want to
me,
get him out of the house.
very well maybe. Over on this past weekend, he was talking about a vacuum cleaner being a sweeper. So he doesn't even know the name of a vacuum cleaner because he was calling it a sweeper. So
I'm surprised he didn't call it an Uber, because that's what everybody called them in the 60s.
Yeah. Finally for me, one of these years I'm going to be right about the Ravens winning a Super Bowl. Had Bobby Humphrey on a couple of days ago, and he mentioned about Marlon on that team and how stacked that team. Of course, Derrick Henry on that. I know you have been high on the Ravens. Are they your pick yet again this year?
I picked them the last 2 years. I got it right one year when they won it. But they have so much talent. Lamar Jackson had the best season of his career. Josh Allen got the MVP. And I think John Harbaugh is a great coach. They should have a chip on their shoulder about trying to help Lamar get to a Super Bowl and win his first Super Bowl. I think there's a good chance. I would like to see Buffalo and Detroit, because of two long-suffering fan bases, two teams that are so much fun to watch. Detroit hadn't won a championship since I was 3 years old, and Buffalo's never won it. Well, they have. They won an AFL championship in '64 when I was 12. So I would love to see either one of those teams. I'm not picking Philadelphia because teams just don't repeat. Patriots did once, then you got to go back to Buffalo to a team to go back, a loser to go to the Super Bowl. And I don't think Kansas City, the Super Bowl loser, does not go back. So I'm not thinking Denver or the Chargers is going. I think Baltimore and Buffalo will have their best chance, and it's not one of those two. I'll be surprised.
So John, I may have fibbed. I do have one little bit of audio that I'd love to get your thoughts on if you've got time, sir.
Sure.
So this was on the Dan Patrick Show earlier in the week. Daniel Jeremiah, it was a question in regards to Jalen Hurts and how good Jalen Hurts is. And Dan was kind of wrestling with how good Jalen Hurts is. And to which this is the tail end of Daniel Jeremiah's answer to Dan Patrick earlier in the week.
I was talking about this the other day. If you were to go through like the great teams and you're going to have a draft off of their players, that to me is a fascinating discussion of like which pick would Jalen Hurts be off of the Eagles? Like, you know, just in terms of talent, he's probably not one of the three most talented players on that team. And you wouldn't say that about, you know, Josh Allen with the Bills would be the first pick. Mahomes with the Chiefs would be the first pick. You know, on and on. You kind of go through that list. So that's where that becomes a challenge.
So while I've got you, I mean, what do you think about that discussion?
Well, I agree, and I'm not. And then also Lamar Jackson would be in there as well. But I also wonder if Jalen Hurts was playing with one of those other teams where he could throw the ball more and not have to rely so much on the running game, would he be a prolific passer? You know, he's from here. You guys saw him at Alabama, Oklahoma. He's never been a prolific passer. So I like what Daniel Jeremiah just said. He's with the right team and the right organization. And the one thing they can call him, those others can't, other than Mahomes, is winner.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, at least looking through the roster, I had him like 8th in terms of if I was doing a draft from a team need wise. I think he's around, at least in my estimation, around 8. But that doesn't mean he doesn't have the glue and the right stuff.
What'd I tell you? That means everybody needs to start drafting like the Eagles. Because if it was a real draft, he would go third overall.
Wow. That 2020 NFL draft, if you take a look back at that class, that's a stout quarterback class.
And he went, second round?
Second round. Mm-hmm. Wow. John, I can't thank you enough for the extra time. It's always fun to talk to you, sir, and I appreciate your time. And it's always, I always learn so much. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Anytime. Always love coming on with you, Steve. Where is Wes?
He's watching pickleball somewhere in Iowa.
Well, one thing we do know, he ain't playing it. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. I can vouch for that. Yeah, he ain't playing. Thank you, John. John McClain, his 49th year.
Well, Kurt Bowles, I think, is year 51. So I would pay to listen to a roundtable of Kurt Bowles and John McClain.
I would love that, and I would just hit record and just sit back and listen. That would be fantastic, by the way.
That's one of my favorite things that's happened with the 10 years I've been going to SEC Media Days is getting to know Kurt Bowles. I mean, it's just amazing.
All right, we are way over time for our first break. Back here at Full Moon Barbecue on the other side, 256-576-4977, the telephone number.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best.
And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
Hey there, Bob Baumhower again. Baumhower's Victory Grille is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted Best Wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhower's Victory Grille. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Are you thinking about home improvements? Well, use your equity now and refi later. Or use your equity to eliminate consumer debt forever, then refi to a lower rate and shorter term when rates drop. North Alabama Mortgage can also help you if you're thinking about buying an investment property or a second home at the lake or the beach or in the mountains. We have great programs to make that happen. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. only on 97.7 ESPN and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
You got to have an ace in the hole.
Is this for Texas Tech right here? Is that what this is coming back with? Yeah. I'm starting to believe more and more, though.
You guys got about 10 minutes because this is Daddy Time in the Tub.
I believe Daddy Time in the Tub.
I hadn't even heard that one.
Oh, have you not? That's the extended cut of the Verbo ad.
Oh, I guess I didn't see the extended cut.
That is, it rarely gets played, but what's that? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
well, feel free. You can say that. I don't think you're letting.
I think what we're experiencing now, though, is nobody really realized until he retired and later in his career what a sense of humor Peyton Manning had till he hosted Saturday Night Live. We're starting to figure out Coach Saban's sense of humor.
He's been sneaky funny. I mean, throughout the duration.
Yeah. I've had maybe 3 conversations with him.
Yeah.
It was just me and him.
Yeah.
And he is really funny.
Yeah, see, there you go.
You guys got about 10 minutes because this is Daddy Time in the Tub.
It's one of the best lines of any commercial I've ever heard.
Lord. I can't believe, I would imagine whoever shot it, there was not a straight, they get, it's almost like.
I do wonder how many takes that took.
No, I mean, it's like Scott Tyson with a Talent Heating and Air commercial. I mean, how do they stop laughing?
Yeah, I think that last one he cut is right up there with corn-fed beef.
That one.
I still shiver when I think of the Valentine's Day one.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
We had people running off the road, that one.
Yeah.
Texting in.
By the way, big ups to Talent Heating and Air. I think they're still running their $49 special for the tune-ups. And trust me, I know a lot of units are getting overtime.
Yeah.
This past week,
could have used some Talent Heating and Air in Atlanta, brother.
And I'm just
saying,
last
night.
But I'm just saying, if you did not get your system tuned up, you probably want to call Talent Heating and Air to get it while this cold front, whatever front's coming through.
Look,
when's that?
Yeah,
October.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's no fun, even with a ceiling fan, to be in 82 degrees inside.
Well, I can't sleep when it's hot.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. His little bungalow, outside of the
last
house.
Night. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the bungalow?
Yeah, he got the bungalow, and
it was great for the first 3 nights.
Did you? They put you in the bungalow, or you offered to go?
I found it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Czar had already.
And it was right next to a hot tub, actually.
Yeah.
Daddy time in the tub.
No, that was more the Abrahams. That wasn't Drew.
When we first did the tour of the house, Scott looks at the fire pit and says, "We need to get some firewood." And I said, What are you
doing?
Nuts?
Yeah. Heck, and then the last night, Keith, before I figured out that it was a hot box, we went out there, and Wes was like, "Where's Tom and John?" I said, "I hadn't seen them. I don't know." I walk out there, and they're in the hot tub. And I'm like, "What are y'all doing?" Scott and Steve were, of course, at the soccer game.
We were watching soccer indoors.
And then I opened the door to the bungalow, and I was like, "Oh, hell no!" I went to find Wes.
Because Wes can fix it.
No, I just wanted Wes to see it and take a look. And then he called the owner, and then I said, "Wes, I'm sleeping in the main house tonight, and I'll get in the hot box for the shower in the morning."
Ooh. I'd rather sleep on a floor than something that's above 75
oh
degrees.
My goodness!
No, thank you. No, I cannot imagine. Well, growing up, at least on my mom's side, they had a farm in Statesville, North Carolina, and where I would help my Uncle Billy, but there was no air conditioning in that house.
Oh wow!
And it was an outhouse at that house.
Wow!
A lot of fans. But no air conditioning.
Oof.
There is no heat like South Alabama during hay season in an open station tractor.
So in my mind, I think it could have been worse had it been like Baton Rouge or something. But anyway, hopefully, I keep getting these feeds on Facebook from these meteorologists that are saying, "Oh, Sunday is going to be fantastic. Sunday is going to be wonderful."
I remember a couple of cool August. I mean, cooler than usual.
Yeah.
Like when my kids were little, you go to the pool and it would be almost too cold to jump in.
According to my phone, which we all go to, high Sunday is 81, low of 68.
Wow.
That is stunning, Steve.
I don't believe it, but
I'm just saying what's on my phone. Anyway, we're all kind of like, I cannot. If you work outside, God loves you.
It's been 2 weeks over 100
easily
5 degree
heat index.
Easily.
So again, I would implore people, if you did not get
Stay
that
hydrated
$49 tune-up for your heating and air unit, do it. It is well worth it, because they will work with you there at Talent Heating and Air, and they're actually the ones that have made sure that our tower has stayed cool as well.
Nice.
Because it kind of went on the fritz a little bit ago. Anyway, 256-576-4977 coming up top of the hour. We will have coverage of the Lions and the Chargers coming up, but a little bit more audio from Ryan Grubb from earlier in the day today, where he spoke about what he wants to see. He wants to see a sense of urgency.
I feel like this sense of urgency probably was sparked a little bit as a result of last year's record and things like that. But I've felt like the sense of urgency since I've got here has been really, really high. And the right players are speaking up, saying the right things to try to, not just talk about it, but enact some of those things and try to follow through with it.
Because that was more the direction I went with the players at SEC Media Days of how the season ended. And I'm even including the Iron Bowl win of Oklahoma, Auburn, and the bowl game.
Because they didn't look good in the Auburn game.
No, they didn't. Not at all.
It's like they were melting.
Four turnovers.
Yeah.
Should have been 49-10.
Still won, but boy, was that an ugly Iron Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Because Milroe was turning the ball over and, not making great decisions. And, again, that's what's going to be the key for good quarterback play for Alabama. It's not so much the stats and, and I do think that it's a quarterback-friendly offense, and you can become a Heisman Trophy candidate. We saw Michael Penix, but the big thing is don't turn the ball over.
Well,
and,
Yeah, go back and watch Alabama, via 2012-13. Sometimes, I think we discussed this last night. Taking a sack is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
keeping the ball.
Yeah, just punt.
Yeah.
Punting the ball's not the end of the world. I hate 3 and outs.
Yeah.
But
I imagine defensive coordinators really hate 3 and outs.
But if you
on your same team.
Oh, yeah,
on your same team.
Yeah.
No.
And the alarming part of – and you can turn it over every now and then, and your defense. Say you throw a deep ball, you turn it over. It's
turns
like
into a punt. Yeah.
Your defense, you can play. Your defense can still bail you out. The alarming part with Milroe is so many of his turnovers were catastrophic that would turn into pick sixes and setting the or like in the bowl game against Michigan, you're setting them up on the 10-yard line. Even if you stand on your head, and Alabama actually did, they're still getting 3.
Yep. Yeah,
I mean, you can't. You're not unless you make them turn the ball back over to you. It's just it's difficult. You got to protect the ball.
Alabama was a team last year that you see teams like this sometimes, especially in high school. But if something bad happens, it's like everybody feels it. It's like, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah, they were a momentum team. Like they got it rolling.
Yeah.
They put T-Bob into therapy, and when they were struggling,
forced them to move to Chicago.
Then they're Drew DeArmond in the press box at Vandy, thinking, well, I guess it's finally gotten back to me. Steve always talks about being a curse when the Dogs play Alabama. I was like, I'm a curse. First time I've ever been to Vanderbilt, and that's fixing to lose.
He's never going back to Vanderbilt.
I thought, hell, I may never come back.
I was at the game the last time they lost. West was on.
West was playing, right?
Playing.
Yeah,
that was in Bryant-Denny.
Yeah, I was going to say that was in Tuscaloosa.
That broke like a 63-game winning streak in Bryant-Denny or something crazy.
Kalen DeBoer did talk about pressure, quarterback pressure.
Yeah, a lot of the competition right now is a lot of pressure on them. There's pressure to play in games and the quarterback pressure that exists, going through the season. But really, the pressure that they have to compete and win the spot is something that's preparing them for those times in the games. And so going against a defense like ours, and our defense does a really good job. I think they're getting better and better at things, which means you don't know where things might always come from. And then, guys just that are playmakers out there too. They can cover a lot of ground, and they're not just giving you those gimmies, those blown coverages. You're having to make plays. And so quarterbacks did a good job of, I think, taking calculated risks at the right time. They didn't put our offense in jeopardy really, throughout practice. And they're being challenged by obviously a group on the other side of the ball that we've, got a lot of confidence in right now.
A lot of confidence.
Once again, you're going to start a quarterback no matter who you pick who's never started a game.
Yeah.
So what the coaches have to do and what the player has to do is find a comfortable rhythm, right? And then when things aren't going right and you lose whatever your comfortable rhythm is, then the coaches have to help them. But whoever can help them get into a different rhythm that he's comfortable with, I'm talking about timing and things. some games you go back there and it's, 1, 2, 3 steps and throw, 3 steps and throw.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll play somebody good. And it's 1, 2, I got to get rid of the ball and no one's open. So, the coaches have to, but football's not that complicated. No, it is very complicated, but for these guys, it's not. It's when they get uncomfortable. What's your decision? Are you just going to throw it up? Sometimes that's not a bad decision. 50-50 balls, they throw them for a reason.
Yeah.
Especially when you get really good athletes on the outside. But, once again, I don't know. I think I know who the quarterback for Alabama is going to be. And as an Alabama fan, if he wins it, I hope he has it all year, because if he doesn't, that means something really bad happened.
But I think
I
think this defense has a chance to be one of the elite defenses.
Yeah, it does. But and they got better and better as the year went on last year. As an Alabama fan, what you're scared of is the defense we saw against Vandy. The defense.
Well, Vandy in particular.
Yeah. And there were times against Tennessee that I don't think they looked great either.
Well, I thought they had a bad second half, but they should have been up 17-0. It should have been a different kind of game. Tennessee should have had to throw against the run, but if you don't throw those picks, Stevens story on
that, by the way.
The numbskulls blew it, and it looked like they did. And and Kellen DeBoer, we've covered him for over a year now. He's not exactly an emotional guy.
Yeah.
He was irate.
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah. Let's take our final timeout, final call for phone calls. I'm going to tell you something that John McDade told me off mic. Because it's interesting to me. I don't know if you guys will find it interesting, but that's how we're going to wrap it up from Fulman.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event at Woody Anderson Ford. Hey folks, Bobby White back again, and I'm here to tell you now is the time to get the Ford you've been thinking about. From 0 down leases to 0% financing, we've got it going on this summer. Woody Anderson Ford has financing as low as 0% for 48 months, plus 0 down payment, plus 0 payments for 90 days, plus 2-year 25,000-mile complimentary maintenance. You can choose a 2025 Escape, F-150, Explorer, or a Mustang. Or how about 0 down lease? $499 a month for a 2025 Explorer, F-150, or Bronco. And just $399 a month for Bronco Sport, Mustang, and Escape. Again, these are 0 down with complimentary maintenance too. This is a 36-month lease with 0 down, 0 security deposit, just tax, tag, title, and your good credit. These offers end 9/2/25. It's our Woody Anderson Ford Summer Sales Event. So hurry on down. I'm Bobby White, and I hope to see you soon.
Eagle Masonry and Insulation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence.
He's got 23-year mortgage, and that is true. We're the number one equity solutions to fit every need. If you call on Cross Country Mortgage, it is for the win.
That's right. You can reach me, Scott, at 256-562-3780, or you can go to crosscountrymortgage.com and then search my name.
It's Cross Country Mortgage and John Kendall, a powerhouse team. One more time, John.
That's crosscountrymortgage.com, 256-562-3780. If we can't close your loan, it simply cannot be closed.
Equal Housing Opportunity Company, NMLS, number 3029.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen. Scattered showers and a few thunderstorms remain in the forecast for this Thursday night. We'll see low temperatures fall into the mid to low 70s for the overnight tonight. Heading into our Friday, another warm afternoon, low 90s for high temperatures, scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
So if you'd like to listen to the Braves game, even though they're not affiliated with us, the fine folks at WTWX down in Gunnersville, I know they're carrying the Braves, but I mean,
I don't know if people really want to put themselves through it.
The Braves are down 3-0 to the Redlegs, top of the fourth.
And I don't think the trade deadline was fruitful.
No. Trade value is still on the team.
Yeah. I'd like to really know Bill Shanks, his blood pressure right now.
Okay, so here is right after, this was the day after we spoke to John McDade. And so he did admit to us, I set it up in terms of, I was trying to set it up for your brother to go Alabama, Oklahoma, illegal man downfield. So John went there. To his credit, he knew where I was going, and he just went there and said, yep, we blew it. So the other thing that if you've listened to this program for any length of time that I've always wanted to do is take the test. I've always wanted to take the test. They do it July 1st for everybody across the nation. They have 100 questions. And so there's not only that test, but there's also one administered by the Southeastern Conference. Each conference does their own individual test. Well, I asked John McDade to send me that, and he said, let me think about it. But then I said, what are the rules? And so he said the 100, this is off air, and he told me that the 100 questions are all multiple choice, which an old professor of mine used to say multiple guess, and it's open book. It's open book. And
are these the tests for the refs?
For the refs. And you know how long the time frame is?
How long?
I would take a guess.
3 hours.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness!
I'm sorry. What?
They have 2 weeks
Brian,
to do 100 questions, open book, and they have to make at least a 91 on it.
I had to work harder than that to get an amateur radio license.
So for
I had to do
the
math
SEC,
and stuff.
So for the SEC, it's 25 questions, open book. He didn't tell me the time frame on the SEC.
Well,
but it is open book, and they've got to get at least 21.
You can do it in 10 minutes with AI.
Open book.
That's not a good idea. Book. Ask some lawyers in Huntsville about that.
Open book.
And that makes that missed call even worse.
Open book. Lord. So that let that stew for a second, because I was standing in front of the old beautiful BCS Crystal football at the College Football Hall of Fame when I was talking to Mr. McDade about it, but I was just like, wow.
But then
2 weeks.
And then you can't do what you'd like to do with McDade sitting there and just play three blind mice as you go out to break.
Well, he owned, and I did hear it did get back to Coach DeBoer.
He did. He asked about the explanation when he found out that he answered the question.
Yeah. I heard it did get back to Coach Kalen DeBoer. He said, wow, great.
Great.
That's a great July answer.
Great. Thanks for killing
for
our
a
rally.
November problem.
Yeah.
Enjoy some football tonight.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.